Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Ooh, this video is exciting. I say that about every video, but I'm very excited about today's video. If you couldn't tell by the title, I am going to be reviewing the Physicians Formula Butter Collection Casey Holmes palette. I'm so excited. You guys know how much I love Physicians Formula, so I'm so excited that I am partnering with them on this video to talk to you all about this new butter collection palette. I'm so excited. I love Physicians Formula. The butter bronzer is a staple in my makeup routine. I love the butter blushes, the butter highlighters. I just barely did a review on the butter eyeshadow palettes and the new butter lipsticks. Like, you guys know, this brand is one of my all-time favorites. If you guys didn't remember, last year they actually launched their very first butter collection palette. It looked like this. It had a bronzer, blush, 2 highlighters, and a fragrance in it. I actually did a video on that as well. This time, they collaborated with Casey Holmes, who's a YouTuber. I'm sure you guys know who she is. If you don't, I'll link her channel down below. She's one of my personal favorite YouTubers. I love how she does so many drugstore makeup tutorials. But I mean, just look at this packaging, you guys. Okay, let me show you the inside. This butter collection palette includes a bronzer, a blush, a beautiful highlighter, a limited edition shade of the butter lip creams, the same fragrance that was in last year's kit, and 4 eyeshadows. So beautiful, and it's all in this gorgeous box. It's pink and it has kind of like an iridescence to it with the palm trees. I'm just in love with the packaging. So first we're going to chat a little bit about the palette, where you can find it, how much it costs. Then we're going to move into a tutorial where I'm going to show you how I created this look, and at the end you'll hear my final thoughts about this palette. And I'm going to do some swatches in the beginning too. So here's a good close-up of the entire palette. It is so beautiful. There's a little protective layer in here, which I really like. That'll keep all the products nice and fresh in here. So let's swatch everything really quick. Please excuse my bracelet dent. First we have the butter bronzer in the shade Deep Bronzer. We have the butter blush in the shade Copper Cabana. And I don't know how well it will show on camera, but here's the highlighter swatch. It's called Just Beachy. Moving on to the eyeshadows, we have this one right here called Do Not Disturb. This one right here is called No Filter. Then we have Tropic Like It's Hot and Palms Palms. So those are the 4 eyeshadows. Last but not least, I will swatch this. There's the lip cream right there. It's in the shade Pop the Bubbly. This is limited edition. The eyeshadows are limited edition, and the highlighter is limited edition as well. So the last butter collection palette that Physicians Formula launched actually came in 2 shades. There was light to medium and medium to deep. This just comes in this shade. This is the only option. However, I do feel like it would be wearable for almost every skin tone. I was a little bit nervous at the bronzer and the blush shade, to be honest, because I am so fair, but I made it work, and I will show you in the tutorial exactly how I made it work for me. This palette is an Ulta exclusive, so it is available on ultabeauty.com and is also available in stores mid-January. If you are Canadian, this will be available at Shoppers in mid-January as well, and it is also available on physiciansformula.com. This retails for $19.95, which is an insane deal. I actually added up what it would have been to purchase a butter bronzer, blush, highlighter, and the lip color all on its own, and just those products, not including the perfume or the eyeshadows, are almost $50. So I think $19.95 is an absolute steal. I love the packaging on this. It is so beautiful. So I do think it's fairly priced for everything that you get. I love that you're able to create a full face with it, which is what we're going to get into next. If you guys want to see exactly how I created this look right here using the Physicians Formula Butter Collection Casey Holmes palette, then just keep watching. Alright, so for brows today, I went ahead and used my Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil. This time I used the shade 3.5, and then I carved out the underbrow, I keep saying that, underneath the brow with the Benefit Highbrow Pencil. I really have been loving how clean it leaves my brows. So that's all I've done so far. Let's go ahead and prep the eyes. I am going to be doing a little bit of the eyes first, then we'll move into face. I want to use concealer on the eyelids to prep everything, so I'm going to go in with my Maybelline Instant Age Rewind concealer and just apply it to the eyelids. And then I'm just going to take my beauty sponge and go ahead and blend this out. This is going to really prep the eyelid for eyeshadow, and it also cancels out any redness and discoloration. So I always love to prep the eyes somehow before I do any sort of glam look especially. Normally I set the eyelids with a translucent powder, but I really wanted to dip into the Butter Collection Casey Holmes palette and go into this one right here. It's called Do Not Disturb, and I think it'll be a really great shadow to just set the eyelid. So I'm going to take this on a flat brush, and I'm going to go ahead and press this on the lid and then brush it all the way up to the brow. Yes, that preps the eye perfectly. If your skin tone is deeper than mine, I would just go ahead and set the concealer with a translucent powder, and then just later use this shade to kind of highlight the brow bone or the inner corner of the eye. Next, I'm actually going to dip into the bronzer as our transition shade. I'm gonna tap off the extra, and I'm just gonna go ahead and start to work this into the crease. I've used the Butter Bronzer as an eyeshadow for forever. Since I've owned the bronzer, I just feel like it makes such a good eyeshadow color as well. I think it's a great way to use your products in different ways. I always love, you guys probably know, I love to use bronzer on the eyes, blush on the eyes, highlighter on the eyes. I just like to use products in multiple ways. So I love that you can use this bronzer as an eyeshadow if you want. It blends out like a dream as well. So I'm just gonna keep building that up from this inner portion here out toward the end of the brow. That makes a great transition shade for me. All right, so let's dip into the Butter eyeshadows. I'm gonna first go into this shade right here. This is called No Filter, and I really just wanna start to work that on the outer portion of the eye and move it into the crease a little bit. I still want the bronzer to be higher up, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna focus this shade a little bit lower than we focused the bronzer, but I do want it to blend over top of the bronzer just so that it looks nice and seamless. And I'm just buffing this out really, really well on this outer corner here. I'm not too worried about the edge because as always, when I do my eyes first, we can clean that up. So don't worry about it if it's getting a little bit lower than where you want it. We can always clean it up. So I'm just kind of building this up a little bit more on the outer portion. I do have another shade that I want to add on the outer corner to deepen it up further, but I'm just gonna go ahead and layer it up a little bit more on this outer part here for dimension. All right, we're gonna go into the deeper red. This one right here. Ah! Okay, let's not have that in there while I'm holding it up. Okay, this one right here, it's called Tropic Like It's Hot. And I'm just gonna use the same brush since it's a similar tone, and we're just going to really start to pack that on this outer third of the eye. I love to make that part of the eye look really nice and bold and vibrant. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm just pressing the brush onto the eyelid and then slightly moving what's left on the brush into the crease a little bit, but I want most of that pigment on the outer portion of the eye. These are blending so beautifully. I'm pretty sure it's the same formula as the Butter eyeshadow palettes that just launched. I will link that video down below. I just did a review on it. So if you missed that, I will link it down below so you guys can see my thoughts on the formula and all of that. These are so beautiful and so vibrant. I'm loving it. I keep building that shade up because I think it's so beautiful. The more I build it up, the more I love it. I just want it to be pretty bold on that outer corner because it's such a flattering shade. Now I'm taking the highlighter, which is called Just Beachy, and I'm gonna really pack this on the lids. I think it's so stunning as an eyeshadow. Because there is quite a bit of glitter in it, you can really layer it up and make the most beautiful glittery eyeshadow, which I personally absolutely love. Oh, I'm gonna blend this out with my finger a little bit. But I personally love that because you guys know how much I love glitter on the eyes, even on an everyday basis. This would be beautiful on the lid. Even if you just threw the bronzer in the crease alone, it would be so pretty. So I feel like it works best to apply it with your finger, but I did like being able to add a little bit of precision around the edges with the brush, but I would definitely recommend building it up with your finger. So I'm just applying that to the other eye and I'm just trying to make it match. I think it looks really nice. I'm going to take the brush that we were using before with the reds, and I'm not adding any more product on it, but I do want to kind of layer that over top of the edge of the highlighter we applied, just so that it blends out nice and seamlessly. I'm going back into Tropic Like It's Hot, which is that darker red, and I'm taking a more precise brush and just really packing it on to further intensify those outer corners. I just love how that looks. So I just had the thought to align the top lash line with something purple. This is from Persona Cosmetics. It's the Plum Eyeliner. I think it comes in the pink kit, I believe. I will have it linked down below, but I'm just gonna go ahead and apply this to the top lash line. I just want a little bit of definition on this lash line, but I didn't want to do a typical black or brown. I wanted something dark purple. So I feel like this will be perfect. And I am going to line it from inner corner to outer corner. I'm not going to worry about doing a wing or anything like that. I want to keep everything pretty soft and easy. I love how that liner looks with these colors. I'm going to go ahead and clean up the under eye area, and I'm going to go ahead and sharpen up the eyeshadow just with the makeup wipe. There honestly was not much fallout at all. If there was, it was from the glitter. I'm just going to take my finger and press out the line so it's not too harsh. I still want that shape there, but I don't want a harsh line at all, so I'm just trying to pat that away a little bit. Let's put mascara on the top lashes. I wanted to use a lash primer today, and I haven't used this in a while. It's the CoverGirl Lash Blast Amplify Primer. So we're gonna go ahead and put that on the top lashes first. Lash primer always looks crazy. I'm gonna go ahead and apply mascara on top. Today I wanna use the CoverGirl Flourish mascara, and I'm just gonna pop that right over top of the primer. All right, so now that we have mascara on, I'm gonna go ahead and prime the skin using the Physicians Formula Spotlight Illuminating Primer. This is one that is really good for luminous, dewy skin. A little goes a long way. I'm gonna focus this mostly on the outer portions of the face, but I do like to put it all over the skin. I just like it mostly to be around the high points of the face, if that makes sense. So I'm just gonna go ahead and apply that all over the skin. And you probably could have guessed what foundation I was gonna choose for this video. I'm gonna go in with the Physicians Formula Healthy Foundation. I love this so much. I'm gonna mix two shades, LW2 and LN3. I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of dot that all over the skin, and then I'm gonna add the other shade. They're very similar shades, but the undertones are slightly different, which is why I like to kind of mix them. And then I'm gonna go ahead and buff that out with the Real Techniques buffing brush. I've been obsessed with this recently. I know it's not a new brush by any means, but I'm just recently discovering it and I really love it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and buff this out all over the skin just to even out the skin tone. After I've buffed it out, I like to apply a little bit of foundation to my sponge, and then I go back over the foundation all over the face, and this will really help to blend it out more. It makes it look more like skin, but the brush gives me the coverage that I want, which is why I usually do both. I'm gonna go ahead and add that same concealer that we used to prep the eyes, and I'm just gonna use this underneath the eyes and also down the center of the face to kind of highlight that a little bit. And I'm gonna blend that out with the same exact sponge. And once I feel like that's nice and blended out, I'm gonna go ahead and set the face with the translucent powder. I'm gonna use the Lawless translucent powder, and I'm gonna use a smaller brush to press this underneath the eye area first, as well as around the nose, chin, and the center of the forehead. And then I take a larger brush and stamp the powder on the cheeks, and then kind of buff away any of the excess powder that's under the eyes. And I'm just gonna continue to set the whole face with this. Let's finish up the eyes. I'm gonna go back into the Butter Bronzer, and I'm going to use this as our transition shade on the lower lash line, making sure to connect it to the existing shadows out on this outer corner here, but I'm also bringing it in toward the inner corner and buffing it out really well underneath that lower lash line. And now for the fun part, we're gonna dip into the green shadow, which is this one right here called Palms. And I'm gonna take this on a more flat brush and really load it up on the end of the brush, tap off the extra, and I'm gonna start to really work this into the lower lash line. I'm keeping the majority of the pigment super close to the lash line, but I am letting it kind of fall down a little bit more so that you have that green underneath the entire lower lash line. I think it's such a beautiful green. In the pan, it looks like it's gonna be like a Christmas tree green, but once you apply it, it has a lot more gold to it, and it just makes it so wearable. I'm gonna take what's left on the brush from packing on the red on the top lid, and I'm just gonna slightly dust that on the very outer corner of the eye, but I really don't want too much red on this lower lash line. I just want it to kind of flow together a little better, but I want most of that whole lower lash line to be green. So I'm gonna go ahead and go into mascara on the lower lashes. I need to wipe off the foundation on my lips. I usually wait till the end, but it's driving me crazy. There we go, that's a little better. So let's go ahead and warm up the face using the Butter Bronzer. So this is a deeper shade than what I typically use, but I'm just gonna go in light-handed and it should work perfectly fine. I love my bronzer anyway, so I don't mind if it's a little bit deeper. I'm really working it into the hairline. I'm just gonna take what's left on the brush and run it down the sides of the nose as well as underneath and under the lip. And then I am gonna put some bronzer underneath the chin and jawline and drag it down the neck just to kind of sculpt that a little bit. I'm gonna take the brush that I used with the translucent powder and just buff over everything to make it look nice and seamless. We're gonna dip into the blush right here. This is called Copacabana, and I'm going to smile and just start to lightly apply that to the apples of the cheeks and dust it backwards. This is a bit of a deeper blush than what I typically wear, so I am gonna try to be a little bit lighter handed. It would look beautiful on medium skin tones and even deep skin tones. I love my blush, I just don't want it to look too intense. It's really pretty though. With a light hand, it has a little bit of a sheen to it. It really matches the eyeshadow really well too. It's time for highlighter. We're gonna go into this one right here. This is called Just Beachy, and I'm going to apply this with a brush. It's more sparkly than what I would typically wear on an everyday basis, but let's build it up and see what happens. It definitely works really well for my skin tone, actually. It blends in really nicely. I like to kind of bring it down on both sides of the face, onto the cheeks a little bit. I normally would highlight the center of the face with the highlighter, but since this is glittery, I don't think I'm going to do that. So I think I'm going to take my Essence Pure Nude highlighter to highlight the very center of the face, just so that we don't have glitter on the center of the nose. I do the same thing with the Fenty highlighter. All right, I think I'm going to actually add a tiny bit more blush. Now that we have the highlighter on, I do want to add just a smidge more. It's so pretty. All right, for lips, I'm going to go ahead and line the lips with just a nude. This one's from Laura Mercier, but whatever nude you have will work. This one was just a little bit warmer, and I felt like it matched the eyeshadow really well. This is in the shade Hazelnut, and I'm just going to line and fill in the lips with this. So now I'm just going to go ahead and go into the butter lip cream that's in this collection. This is called Pop the Bubbly. This is a limited edition shade. I also recently did a swatch video of all the new butter lipsticks, so I will also have that link down below if you didn't see it. This one is really, really pretty because unlike the others in the collection, this one has a little bit more of a sheen to it, like a rose gold sheen, which looks so pretty over top of any lip liner or on its own. That is so beautiful. So let's assess the situation before we actually go ahead and lock it in. I am going to add a little bit more bronzer just to the outer parts of the face. As always, I usually add more bronzer. I'm also going to take the highlighter and just add it to the inner corner of the eye. It's stunning as an inner corner highlight. Look at that. That's so beautiful. I'm also going to take what's left on the brush and pop it right underneath the brow bone. All right, so I'm just going to quickly set the face, set the brows, and then I will go ahead and tell you guys my final thoughts and review on this collection. I almost forgot. As our final touch, we need to spray a little bit of the Physicians Formula Butter Paradise Eau de Toilette. So let's do it. I'm just going to do one little spritz. Now I smell good. All right, so here's the final look. I must say, I'm obsessed with it. So let's get into my final thoughts about this Butter Collection palette. You guys, I love Physicians Formula. I love Casey Holmes. So I feel like this was a perfect collaboration. I actually am so shocked at how gorgeous this look turned out. The colors in here all work together to create the most gorgeous bronzy rose gold makeup look, but I love that you have an option of color and you have an option of something glittery for more of an evening look. You guys already know I love the butter bronzer. I do feel like the deep shade worked on me. I just did go in with a lighter hand. I go in pretty heavy-handed with the lighter shade that I normally use, but I still feel like this one worked for me. The blush is so beautiful. I love how there's a sheen to it. It really adds a glow back to the skin. I will say if you are a fairer skin tone, definitely go in a little lighter with a brush. Because it is a deeper tone, you don't want it to look too over the top, but it's perfect if you just use a lighter hand with your brush. I love how it turned out. The highlighter actually surprised me. It is so beautiful when you apply it. There are actual visible pieces of glitter in it though, so it's not something that I personally would gravitate towards on an everyday basis. But if it's a special occasion, I've been really into more glittery highlighters, just like the Fenty Beauty highlighter. I do find myself using that, so I'm very excited about this highlight. Even if I'm not wearing it on my cheeks, I'm obsessed with how it looks on the eyes. So that's how I personally would wear it on a more everyday basis. You could seriously just put the bronzer in the crease and pop on a little bit of glitter from the highlighter on the lid, and you would have a really beautiful everyday look that's still a little bit glam. So I love that. The formula of the eyeshadows are beautiful. I love the butter eyeshadow formula, and I really do like the color selection. When I first saw this, I thought these two shades were pretty similar, but once you apply it to the eyes, they really do add a different effect to the eyelid. One is much more brown and warm, and the other one is definitely more of a purplish red undertone once it's applied to the eyes. I'm obsessed with this lip color. I wish it wasn't limited edition because I love how it looks. It's so ultra glossy. It's like a metallic, but it's such a wearable metallic kind of lip color. I really love how this looks, especially over top of that lip liner. And then the classic perfume is back in this collection, and I think it's so fun. It does smell really good. I feel like it's a scent that most people would really enjoy. It just smells tropical, and I normally don't love warm scents, but this one's like a fresh warm scent, so I actually really do like this. Overall, I love it. I love the look that I was able to create with it. I was also very impressed at how everything blended. Just like all my other Physicians Formula butter products, these blend like a dream. They are so beautiful. I love the quality of them, and I had absolutely no issues when creating this look. I feel like every single product was really, really beautiful. I'm obsessed with these collections that Physicians Formula keeps doing. I love how you can create several different entire makeup looks just using one little collection palette. Should I call it a palette? It's called a collection. You guys know what I'm trying to say. But I absolutely love how this look turned out. So that's it, you guys. That completes my tutorial, review, and swatches of the new Physicians Formula and Casey Holmes Butter Collection palette. I loved how the look turned out. I love this palette. I'm so happy for Casey. This is so incredible. So again, this will be linked down below if you guys are interested in checking it out. It's so beautiful, so be sure to check it out and support Casey. But that's it for today, you guys. Thanks for stopping by and for watching this video. If you are new to the family, hi, my name is Allie and I would love to have you join. You can do so by hitting the subscribe button, and if you're already a subscriber but you want to be notified on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays when I post my videos, go ahead and click on the bell after you subscribe and you'll get a notification every single time I upload. I'm feeling fancy. I want to go out for dinner or something. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Love you. Bye!